A very warm welcome, Pierre, and thank you so much for coming up for this interview. And we really appreciate you taking out your time for this interview. And here we are celebrating the Earth Day, and we eagerly wanted to connect with your organization, Endangered Species International, and we wanted to know more about the work that you've been doing and more about the impact that you've created. So, first of all, I'd like to know more, something more about you and your organization as well, and how does it come into the picture, and what impact is it trying to achieve?
Thank you for having me and having this interview. So basically, I have a passion for nature and animals and the endangered species since I was very, very young. And when I mean very young, it started around 7 years old. So this is basically my life, a passion to try to save animals and also to preserve their home, which is the forest, the habitat. So I did a lot of projects, and when I was very young, I stopped the university for 3 years to start a project in Latin America to protect sea turtles. At 19 years old, I get a grant from the French government to go to the Amazon to study endangered species in the Amazon. So I stopped the university, I went back. So basically my passion was overwhelming me. And at one point I decided to create an NGO that would allow us to be a little bit more effective, I would say, than others. We are operating differently. We can talk about that later. But basically, Endangered Species International is over now 15 years old. We I've been operating in Latin America, the Amazon, that part of the world, Western Africa, and Asia, Southeast Asia.
That's amazing, Pierre. And thank you so much for sharing all those information. I think that's really very, very interesting how that sounds, that you dropped out of college and you followed your passion, because in today's era, it's very, very difficult to follow your passion, and especially in the society that people judge you for a lot of things. But I am so grateful to you that you actually did that. So thank you so much for doing that, actually. Now I'd like to ask a very basic question, the most basic one I could ever ask, but I always ask this to all the non-profit organizations that we connect, and I get a very different, diversified kind of response, and I get to understand the different perspectives. So I would like to know from you that why are we celebrating Earth Day from your perspective? I've heard lots of perspectives from different non-profit organizations, from different kind of people. But here I want to see the importance and the significance of this Earth Day from your lenses.
Okay, so basically for me, as a simple citizen of this world, Earth Day is simply a reminder that Earth Day is every day. It's not only one single day. We need to act for the planet, for the nature, for the animals living with us in this planet. We're not the only one. And also we other human beings, peacefully and interacting in a way that we don't destroy the environment and of course the other animals. So acting every day, it's a reminder we need to do that every day. That's my message.
Wow, so precise and so to the point answer. I love that, Pierre. And so
thank you.
Now the next question that I'd like to ask is more towards the society and the people. So what do you think can be one simple act, one simple earth-friendly resolution that you wish that everyone should take and everyone can take, actually?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a very tough question. I've been asked this question many times, and it of course depends where you live and also what is your lifestyle. If I will be talking to somebody living in New York City, I will tell you consume less. if I would be talking to farmers, let's say in Morocco, I will tell them, you are doing already great stuff for the planet, but maybe do not use chemicals, try to do organic farming. So it's a little bit difficult to answer that as a broad, because everybody has a different lifestyle, a different connection with nature. But as a whole, I think what I would say is to people around the world to be more connected with nature, which I means go out, spend time outside with nature, and this connection will give you what you need to do. It will come out from yourself, because nowadays, as you know very well, most of the people spend their time in the big cities, in the not no more the rural areas or the only urban areas, and people are really disconnected. And this trend is growing, and that's what makes me more worried. Yeah, so that would say overall, spend time in nature.
Wow, that's an amazing answer that I just heard. Like,
oh, thank you.
You precisely said that nature will give its own answers to you.
That's
right?
exactly. To be honest with you, when I don't say that I have all the answers, but at least, the nature showed me a lot of points. They give me thinking. They also gave you creativity, and you will find, yourself the best way how to help this world.
Wow, absolutely. I think, yes, if we spend time with nature, we try to observe it, I think we'll have our own answers that how can we contribute towards anything that we can do towards Earth, towards our environment, and towards everything that we are living in our surroundings with. So I think that's an amazing point of view, an amazing perspective that to have from this. Now, my next question would be slightly correlating to the current scenario and the things that we have been going through in the very recent past. So we consistently have been seeing lots of disasters, unprecedented situations, adversities, and every such thing. Like there was Great Depression, then there was something else, then there was COVID, then currently it is the Russia-Ukraine war that the entire world is facing. And do you think that the focus on environmental issues sinks into the background because of these adversities and these situations that we face in our day-to-day life?
The nature, the environmental issues are still in the background. And even despite all these crises, over the history, let's say the 100 years, even the charity, the giving, represent only about 3% that goes into the environment. 3% of the entire charity giving goes only to the environment. The government spend a very little amount, for protection of the environment, for improving our surroundings. So basically, just to give you some example, Brazil, a huge country, beautiful rainforest to protect, including the indigenous tribes. They spend only, $150 million US dollars a year. This is absolutely nothing. The US, which is the biggest country in terms of economy, spend only 750,000 million for the environment. This is nothing. Congo is a huge country, huge rainforest, beautiful. Unfortunately, they spend $0.5 million a year. So government doesn't help. They don't put the money where it should be. So we have to do our part, and also to push the government, but through our NGOs like Endangered Species International, with the help of the people and people like also Goodera, we can do a lot. We can, at least start and continue the movement. We cannot wait. We have to do something.
Absolutely, Pierre. And I think that's a very valid point. And at least we can start with raising the voice and creating awareness about it, because people need to know. And once the people know, and once the governments know that people also know these things, people are aware of these things, then I think the working towards betterment of the environment and the earth and contribution from the government as well might increase. So hoping for the best. And thank you so much for putting up that relevant point. So now I'd like to understand more about the another aspect of any non-profit organization. That is the people working with the non-profit organization, be it volunteers, be it the management staff or employees working with. So I would like to understand from you, like if someone, let's say like me, who's has an inclination towards the cause, inclination towards mother nature, inclination towards saving the environment, how can I contribute to your cause? What are the multiple ways that a person like me, sitting in a completely different part of the world, can come up and support Endangered Species International?
Okay, well, first of all, like you guys do with Goodera, private sectors, big businesses, and even smaller ones can do volunteering work online by creating materials that will be used after that in the field. So that's also an important help. Now also we accept volunteers that can usually have to spend at least a month time on our project site, but that's also you have to be really involved into it because it's a longer period of time, and then you have to be in remote areas. So it's a lot of involvement. Of course, supporting our cause financially is important, like any other causes, because of course without money we cannot do anything. But the volunteers are definitely the backbone of our organization, because since the beginning we're being relying on a lot of volunteers, and including the local communities. And when I mean the local communities, for example, in Congo or in the Amazon, we work hand in hand with the indigenous tribes. So basically, the tribal people help us to protect the rainforest and the endangered species. But at the same time, we have to also support them as we work together. And for that, of course, we also need people. We need a little bit some funds, etc., etc. Just another example. For example, if you tell me, okay, I want to participate, I really want to help Mother Earth. We, for example, in Congo, we are in the process of creating a big national park that will protect a huge amount of rainforest, including gorillas, forest elephants, so a lot of important endangered animals. And in this case, for example, what we need is definitely we can have people can help us with drone photos. You know, they have like these drones and can make pictures to help us to map. Somebody can come in and have a great idea, also have to find some alternative livelihood for the local community. So they came up with some great idea with organic farming. Another one will come in and say, okay, me, I want to participate in ecotourism. So I want to bring tourists to the area to check, to trail the forest, to discover nature, and then spend time with the indigenous tribe. And so everybody can find, you know, ideas with us, okay, and then propose, and after that we can implement together. That happens a lot like that. Basically, you know, we are not the one to create the entire project. It comes from the field where people, there's a need, they ask for it, and then we come in, and then other people, it could be a person like you know, you have your own expertise, I'm sure. And your expertise or your ideas that we don't think it could help a lot.
I think I totally love what you said, and I totally agree with your point that yes, the backbone are volunteers, and without the people who are actually dedicated towards the cause, who actually feel for the cause from their heart, it is not possible to further any single initiative by a non-profit organization. and we always need people with the right intent to support. And since we are talking about the volunteers, I have three questions, but I want to make it interesting by asking you to answer all three of them in only a single or maximum 2 lines.
Okay, I'll try.
Yes. So my first question would be, what is the one difference that you can point out between in-person volunteering and virtual volunteering?
I think one difference, huh? Okay. I think the in-person volunteering would be much richer and more memorable to you. No question about that.
Great. That's great. That's just one line. And my next question is, what is your most memorable moment while volunteering in person?
This is the tough one again, tough question, because I have so many good memories about that. Let me think 1 second. Yeah, simply by staying with a local community in the middle of the forest with this tribe and learning.
Wow, that's amazing. You cracked it again. And my third question would be, if you were to tell a volunteer that what is the one biggest takeaway from in-person volunteering, what would that be? If you were to tell a volunteer from a non-profit point of view, that what is the biggest takeaway from an in-person volunteering activity to them?
I think it's what you're going to give to nature and the others, but also what you're going to receive. And that's, you're going to feel it. It's so difficult to explain by words sometimes, but once you are already into it, into the voluntary action, you will feel it.
Absolutely perfect, Pierre. And thank you so much for sharing all those amazing insights, interesting experiences of yours, going in the middle of the forest with the community and just staying there and watching the nature. That's really very overwhelming even to think of. I'm not sure how would it feel, and absolutely it would be overwhelming, but I'd love to feel that one day, for sure. And with that, Pierre, I guess those were all my questions. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Maybe what I just want to finish on these lines. I just want to say that, for example, that our work in Endangered Species International is doing a vital work for the humanity, for the human being, because of the 8 million species, more or less, we share on Earth, we are only one of them. 8 million species, already 1 million are threatened with extinction. So, and of course, we are the one who are creating these problems. So let's do the reverse, and I hope also some of you guys listening, or it could be also big business, join us in this, causes. Yeah.